I welcome all of you to Company and Partnership Law class. Today we look at Unit 1, Session 2. Unit 1 is on Partnership Law in Ghana. Session 2 of Unit 1 is on Post-Registration and Related Issues. Session Objectives. By the end of this session, you should be able to explain the effect of certificate of registration of a firm, understand the need for registration of changes after registering a firm, and evaluate the penalties for faulty registration. Now, issue and effect of certificate of registration. If you remember, in our first lesson, we went through the process for registration. Now, after the partners have submitted a statement and partnership agreement to the registrar for registration, the registrar will now consider whether or not the partners have met all the requirements under Act 152. If the partners have met the requirement under Act 152, the registrar shall proceed to register the partnership firm. He shall proceed to satisfy under his seal that the firm has been registered and is incorporated. Once that is done, the registrar will publish the name of the partnership firm in the Gazette. The registration or the incorporation of the partnership firm is a conclusive evidence that the partnership firm has been duly incorporated and has become an artificial legal entity. The registrar, in issuing the certificate of incorporation, shall state on the certificate the name of the firm, the names of the partners, and also state that the liabilities of the partners is unlimited. You have to know that even though after the incorporation of the partnership firm becomes a separate legal entity distinct from its partners. Because even though it has assumed this status, the partners are jointly and severally liable for all the liabilities of the partnership firm. So you have to note that one as well. Registration of changes. Assuming that after registration, certain changes have occurred in your partnership firm, what should you do? The law allows you to make changes when it is due or when it is necessary. Now, after you have made any changes, you are required to submit the changes you have made to the registrar within 28 days after that changes have been made. Now, if the changes is in respect of the firm name or identity of the partners, it will have effect on the certificate of incorporation. Therefore, the registrar has a duty to issue new certificates to reflect the changes that the partners have made. So, when the amendment is necessary, the registrar will issue new certificate of incorporation, especially when it touches on the firm name or the identity of the partners. We now want to look at the annual renewal of registration. You have to know that once you register a partnership firm, you are required to renew it every year. Now, the date in which you renew your partnership firm depends on the date in which you registered your partnership firm. Now, if your registration took place within the first day of July and 30th day of June, then your renewal should be done within 28 days after the first day of January each year. So take, for instance, if this year, 2023, you registered your partnership firm around 25th June 2023. Now, the law requires you to renew your registration when we get to 2024. Within the first 28 days after 1st January, you have to effect new registration. Now, if you registered your partnership firm within the first day of July and 31st day of December in any year, then the date for your renewal will be the first day of July, 28 days, within 28 days of the first day of July each year. So, for instance, if last year, July, you register your partnership firm, then the law requires you that within 28 days after the first day of July 2023, you have to renew your registration. So the law is clear. The time difference, we have to look at it carefully. Because if you fail to meet the deadline, there are certain penalties that you have to pay. Now you want to look at penalties and disabilities upon failure to register or renew partnership firm. You have to know that if you fail to register your partnership firm and you operate, or if you fail to renew your partnership firm when it is time for you to do so, what happens is that every partner shall be liable for a fine for each day during which the default continues. So if you're supposed to register your partnership firm within 28 days after the first day of January, then that day has expired, but you have still not registered or renewed the partnership firm. They will count after the expiration of 28 days. All the subsequent days, they will count it one by one, and appropriate fees shall be multiplied to that effect. Now, the firm and the partner shall not take a court action to enforce any right arising out of any contract made during such time as the default continues. What it means is that if you're supposed to renew your partnership firm, for instance, you register your partnership firm last year, January, and you expected to renew your registration this year within the 28 days after the first day of July, and up to now you have not renewed your partnership firm. The law says that you are prohibited from bringing any action against anyone at all if the person has breached a contract that you entered with him. It means that until you renew your registration, you cannot enforce any right that has accrued to you. The good thing is that if you have not renewed your registration, you can apply to the court for the court to remove that disability that you cannot sue to enforce your right until you renew your registration. The court will look at it, and if the court is satisfied, remove that disability so that you can sue any third party that has breached a contract that you have entered with him or her. Until that is done, you cannot enforce any legal rights upon failure to renew your partnership firm when the time is due. There's an exception to this rule. Even though if you have not renewed your registration, you cannot sue to enforce your right. However, if a third party commences an action, against the partnership firm, then it gives the partnership firm the opportunity to counterclaim or set off or bring any action it has against that third party. So what it implies is that if you have failed to renew your partnership firm, first of all, you cannot sue to enforce your right at any court. However, if a third party first bring action or sue you at court, you take the opportunity to counterclaim or sue that third party for any debt or liability the third party is owing you. That is the exception. Now, you want to look at maintenance of register. The question you have to ask yourself, who has the duty to maintain the register of partnership firm? The registrar is required under the law to maintain the register and an index of all firms registered under and of all statements and notices relating to each firm so registered. So what it means is that anytime a partnership firm is registered, the partnership firm must keep record of their register. However, the partnership firm will also have an internal arrangement, but it is the main duty of the registrar to maintain register for partnership firms, so that when it becomes necessary for people to run search about the partnership firm, they will do so. However, when it comes to registration of charges or securities, the content of the register cannot be construed as notice to the general public in respect of matters stated in there. What this simply means that when you register your partnership firm and it is being gazetted, it gives the public notice of what has transpired. Now, when it comes to charges means that encumbrance on an asset of a company. Now, based on if the content of what contains in the charge, it is not a notice to the general public, but we are saying that once it is registered, it is deemed that the public has noticed that a particular charge has been registered with the registrar. However, what it entails in the charge that has been registered, the content, the public is deemed that they don't have notice of the charge or what is contained in the register. So you only know that there has been a charge that has been registered, but the content of that register of charges, the public has no notice of it. Now, to summarize what we have learned, in this session we discussed post-registration and related issues, such as issue and effect of certificate of registration, and we explained that after registration, changes in the partnership must be registered, and every year the partnership must renew its registration. Remember, if you fail to register, there is a bar against you to enforce your rights. The only exception is that unless a third party first takes action against you, then it gives you room to counterclaim. Thank you very much for your time. See you in the next lesson. Goodbye.